What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. We are on another edition of Breaking the Base podcast, and in this episode, which is episode 19, so we got 19 videos. Um, it's me, Narik Chase, sitting here with my co-host Lakeisha,
Hello.
and we're going to be talking about the Stephen King film Storm of the Century. Now, Miss Lakeisha, could you please elaborate what is the plot of Storm of the Century?
Well, basically, it is about a island by the name of Little Tall off the coast of Maine. Um, Basically, it's about during that time they are getting ready to prepare for a very huge snowstorm. But during that time, they also have to battle more than a snowstorm, some sort of human-like demon who gets his kicks off of making people commit suicide, or actually he just kills them himself.
That sounds like a real Stephen King idea. Now, I have to say, when she recommended this miniseries to me, I was a bit skeptical, but after I sat there and watched it, it was great. It was great. It was great. Not only was the story actually pretty good, it had a lot of thrilling moments in it and good twists, but also the writing and the characters. Now, like what are your thoughts when you first seen this film? I mean, this miniseries.
Um, well, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it that much because of what the people in the town had to do. They had to make a very big decision between, well, basically it's life or death. So, the decision they made, it wasn't quite good, but they said it was better than an alternative.
Okay, all right. As a story, is it a good story?
It's a good story. The 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 way it was set, it was good. I like how it was set in that little town during a snowstorm. I liked it, but how it ended, it kind of left me wondering as to what people would do, make a good decision or a bad decision. But it turns out both of these decisions were kind of bad on their part.
All right. Now, in terms of the story that's been told, what you think stood out more? The the horror elements, the thrilling elements, the dramatic elements. Which one caught your attention the most? Or even the supernatural? Which one? Which one?
Um, well, to me, it wasn't really like supernaturally. I mean, it was a demon, of course. Um, I think it was more of the thrill of it, and
Very suspenseful.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I think it was the suspense too. One thing I can say about the film and the story is the fact that it's subtle. It isn't over the top. Like the way the different twists were brought out, the way the story elaborated on either characters or the setting or something like that. It was all very subtle. So you kind of got a chance to actually absorb everything in, but it gave you time to do that.
Hmm.
Okay. Now the story, I mean, as far as the film does feature a lot of great characters, and you know, honestly, it's like, who are some favorites?
Um, well, I exactly don't have like a favorite character because they're all pretty good, but I don't have a favorite in this movie. I don't have a favorite character, but Tim Daly.
The guy that ended up playing the constable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
him. He played his character good, even though you said he was overly emotional.
Well, I mean, the character was overly emotional, but we're not going to get to that point as to why I would stay there just yet. Um, I thought, what was the girl, the one, the girl that ended up killing her boyfriend, the pregnant one, the one that was pregnant.
Her name was Catherine or Cat.
I actually did like her character. I thought her character was actually pretty cool. I mean, it had like a complex little arc for her. But as far as like a character I actually kind of liked, I think it was her. Maybe because of the circumstances of, her story, and maybe because she was maybe the youngest like character, like in terms of adults. Like she was a young adult. Most of the other characters were older. So I think I liked her character too, and also the mayor, the town manager, Robert. I have to say, Jeffrey Demon. I don't know how to say his last name. Demon. Jeffrey Demon. I thought he did a great job. I thought he did a pretty good job.
To me, he was a bit of a douchebag. A little selfish.
I can get behind that too. I can get behind that. But I have to say the dude did give a pretty good performance behind that character. And he seems like one of those characters that tries to take charge without, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think he did a decent job with the taking charge part. Like, I actually could believe him as a town manager.
I don't know. He might have been the one to take charge just because he was a town manager. But he was a bit of a douche and a little scaredy cat to me. Little fraidy cat.
I'm not gonna lie, he had that gun out more than a few times. That's what I like. That's one reason I did like him.
Okay, but like, was he ever gonna use it because he was too scared?
I don't know. He was ready. So what do you think about the relationship between Michael and Molly?
Well, up toward the middle, it was a pretty good relationship. Yeah, he was the store owner. She was a teacher, I'm guessing. Yeah, up until the middle, close to the end, I say they were pretty good together. I can say that for them.
Now, I was watching it and I couldn't help but wonder the question: which one of those two characters seemed like they were stronger between them two?
Well, I would have to say Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I concede to that because some of the stuff that he did and he ran into, he did do it, and it takes a strong person to do that.
He was actually willing to fight for it, fight for what he had to do.
What was his friend? I can't remember his name.
They call him Hatch.
Yeah, Alton Hatchet. Yeah. Okay. He was played by Casey's. I don't know how to say his last name. It looks Seismograph. I don't know. Samasco. I don't know. I thought he was a pretty good character also. He was one of those. He was like one of the side characters that I think was a good parallel to Michael, but at the same time, he kind of had his own thing. But I did like his character. He should laugh. I messed up that name. Seismograph. It says Samasco. I don't know how to I don't know how to say the name. If he somehow manages to end up listening to this, I'm completely sorry. But what about their relationship? You think they were pretty good?
Michael and Hatch.
Yeah.
buddies would go. I wouldn't say like close friends,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I think they were, they could be buddy, but not like best friends. Because, what happened when it came down to that, what did he do? And what did he do?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, so so when it comes to the characters, do you think the characters were fleshed out enough?
as to, like,
Like, were they well written enough? Did they have enough personality? Did they have enough depth? Uh,
yeah, I think so. Everybody got their own little, had their moment. That's one thing I liked about them. Everybody, it seemed like they had their moment. Wasn't nobody wasn't like one or two people singled out through the whole movie.
yeah, it was just a good majority of the cast did
Yeah.
have to stand out a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I agree with that too. There were a lot of characters, some likable, some not so likable. Stephen King did a great job with with writing some of these characters. Even some of the characters that didn't stand out as much as you kind of liked them to,
Mm-hmm.
they still had that little moment that kind of intrigued me. I would like to go back and do like a top 10 list because there was some characters I did like. I think it was enough for 10 list. So what about the characters? Characters are actually pretty good for the most part. Casting. Do you think they did a great job with the casting?
Casting the like the roles and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I mean, whenever we're doing the casting, they had to be okay. Like, what kind of people would stay on a little island cut off from the mainland, and nobody's flashy island folk.
I think one thing about it is it ain't no real big name people,
No.
and that's I think one of the best things because
Yeah,
it helped to kind of make it even for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people except for Tim Daly.
The only two people that I know that actually have maybe might be the biggest one is Jeffrey Dooman. That's a Demon. I'm gonna say Demon. Jeffrey Demon and Ferrer. Them about the only two that I recognized.
Who?
The dude that played Andre Linoge, Comfer, Fior, Comfior.
Okay.
I'm butchering names, guys. I am butchering the names. But okay. That about the casting, I think everybody did a pretty good job. I don't think nobody slacked on for the characters. I thought they all did a fairly good, decent job with all the characters for the most part. I did like Deborah Ferrentino, who played Molly. She was a good, strong female lead character. There are some other female leads that did a pretty good job. So I would say that. I think the casting was pretty good for this film. And going back towards the story, I think it was a very interesting way of bringing. One thing I liked about the Stephen King, this being a Stephen King film, is the fact that when he brought the demon into the fray, he just didn't have a demon. He had to set it up with something, and I think the blizzard was actually a great parallel because the blizzard itself presented a challenge against the characters, and then you have this demonic figure does the exact same thing instead of it just being them versus a demon. So
they had to survive they had to survive the blizzard and him. That was just putting a lot on him.
yeah, and the blizzard does his own set of challenges: the cold, freezing, lack of communication, food, the lack of power. So I think that I think that's another reason that everything was kind of subtle. But let's talk about the star of the movie, Andre Linoge. Give me your thoughts on him.
He was pretty good. To be cast as the demon, he wasn't over the top. He wasn't doing all these like fancy demon things. Um, I think he changed to it once.
Like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I'm talking about, he didn't like go from like another creature. He just changed into like what, an old man. So yeah, I mean, even though he was a demon, his part wasn't over the top. It was a good part. I liked him.
Do you think he had a bit of personality?
Um, Maybe a little bit. I mean, he wasn't exactly popular with the town folk.
I honestly liked him, and I liked him because he did somewhat have. I liked him because he did have that personality. It was creepy. It was a creepy personality, but he also wasn't like a dude. I mean, he was a douchebag, but he wasn't a douchebag. Like he was like one of those characters that you hate him, but you can like him too.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought his character was actually fit in that category. I mean, like one point where when he was talking to the boy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like that. You know, he's like he can sit here and he's doing all these horrible things, but at the same time, he's got a bit of personality, so you kind of like him.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like I said, he was perfectly cast because Fior did a great job. Those moments where he's not saying anything, he's just sitting there and he's just looking. The man just owned that role. He did a great job with that character. Um,
And he wasn't like scary or ugly, you know, because most demons, what, ugly, scary. He wasn't scary ugly. He had what do you call that? When the key is over. So he
mhm.
couldn't present himself as an ugly demon to actually do that.
I think. But what do you think of his motivation? Like, did you think it was a good motivation?
Like to like what he was doing there.
Yeah. Like, what his purpose? Like, did you think that it was kind of an original idea? Did you think it was a pretty good idea for him to? You understand why he's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he got a pretty good understanding as to why.
You think that was a
Uh,
strong motivation?
mm, Maybe a little bit to. Okay, he needed a child to be his protege. If he didn't get the child, he was gonna kill everybody. That's then he's gonna go on to the next little island and do that again. Uh, no, I don't. His purpose wasn't that good, but he needed a child. But could have been like a little more.
I mean, it's a pretty tough. When I thought about it at first, I was like, yeah. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, it kind of goes back and shows how, despite the fact that he's a demon, that he does have not humanity, but human-like mannerisms. I mean, characteristics. He's a demon, all-powerful demonic creature. Not gonna say he's a demon, I'm gonna say demonic creature. But even despite the fact that he's a demonic creature with all his power, he did the exact same thing that a person would do. A
Mm-hmm.
person would like to have a child to have leave his legacy to, and that's what he was doing. So the motivation I actually think was actually I'm not gonna say it was good for the reason what he was doing, but it was understandable. It was a good motivation to him, and you can understand why he was doing it. So I think that's one way of looking at that. Um, so what about his abilities? Like, what did you think of his abilities? I mean, he was getting in people's heads, and a lot of it was just through dialogue, which I thought was pretty cool. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of it was dialogue, but then he did certain things like, what was it, mind control. Um,
His abilities are pretty good because he never actually killed anybody except for the one in the first beginning.
but he
So
did drop that one guy that was flying.
okay, okay to them probably what they say lost in some snow and probably froze. See, he never did actually kill anybody. I'm just like except at the beginning.
I mean, he killed some people.
I mean, no, actually,
He just didn't do it like in an over the top way.
to them they just committed suicide or murder, but it wasn't him. He just made them do it, but he didn't do it physically.
I still say he did kill more people.
That's crazy.
Okay, we'll just split it down the middle. He might not have killed like that, but he was responsible for the deaths.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, I can see that.
Okay. I thought he had some pretty interesting abilities. The like the what was it? Do you think? And this is the one thing I wanted to know about the movie. When it came to the blizzard, was it coincidence or was it, he actually did? And that's one thing that's kind of hard to figure out. Was he linked to that blizzard, or was he just using the blizzard as a cover?
Um, well, they had blizzards before, on that island. They said it never got like really bad. Um, maybe I'm saying maybe he did cause a little bit of it, but I think the blizzard was gonna hit anyway.
So you think he just
So,
came in and
yeah,
kind of
he
like
just
enhanced it a bit?
used that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of goes back to showing what his abilities is too. He can actually control the weather like that. Do you think? Remember the one part sequence where the water knocked down the tower? Do you think he was responsible for that too? Because it does seem a bit, wouldn't be coincidence for that lighthouse getting knocked down the way it did.
Yeah. Like I said, they experienced snowstorms before, so for it to get that bad, I think he probably was the cause of the
Yeah.
lighthouse getting knocked down to show them to scare them.
Yeah. Okay. Now, as far as his abilities goes, which goes back to the story and the motivation of the character himself, do you think the way he went about doing what he did to get what he wanted was a good way of doing it? He went through all of this elaborate schemes and plans and all this death just to give these people this choice.
Well, he had to show them somehow. He couldn't just, of course, he couldn't just walk up in there, walk up in the town, and ask them. He had to do some stuff along the way so they could be scared. Well, if we don't do this, then maybe they didn't know whether he caused the blizzard to be that big, but they didn't know what he didn't. Yeah, I think I said that right.
I think one of the best abilities that he showed in the film was the sequence where everybody was dreaming the same dream.
Yeah, that was all him.
Yeah, I think that was one of it was a very subtle, but it was a very like to the point. And I think it's good because that was, even though everybody knew about that, they had to figure out what it meant. And then of course you had the sheriff, the constable Michael, kind of figure out what it was, what it meant. So, do you think the way that they had to come about this choice, which the choice, for those who haven't seen it, we're going to go ahead and divulge that now. The choice was either they give up a child to him to be his successor, or they all pretty much died. This is the big kicker because me and Lakeisha here have had this talk before with another one of our friends, and we wanted to sit here and just put it on here for us to talk about. Do you think they made the right decision?
No. I said it to you, and I'm saying it now. They did not. I mean, I don't care what he did. To be honest, they were just. I know they were scared, but come on, it's one of your own. I mean, I understand what Michael was going through. He said he was emotional. That's why he couldn't make the best choice. But yeah, I agree with what Michael said. I let all of us die.
Oh no, no. I mean, I like I said, I can understand, but the question comes down: would you sacrifice one person or be directly responsible for 200 or 300 people getting killed? Because technically, if you make the choice of no, you're technically killing people.
Okay, but like I said, they wouldn't have known. They would, as soon as they would have said no, you would have put them in a trance, sent them off the bridge.
But what about them people's families?
Okay, everybody got killed in the snowstorm.
Oh man,
They made the wrong choice.
I can't.
I still say they made the wrong choice.
But you gotta come up to the point. Would you if it came down to sacrificing one or that many people? What person is worth that many lives? The same Pirates of the Caribbean, where Jack Sparrow had to have 100 souls for Davy Jones to leave him alone.
I mean, you're talking about a child. I mean, he wasn't gonna. All he gonna do was teach him what he knows. The child became a demon, and he was gonna go and do the same stuff he did.
But you gotta think about it. That child was gonna become a demon and everything, but that child literally was gonna experience stuff no human would ever do, things no human would ever do. He would actually have a better life as a whatever the hell he was.
No, see, but think about this. Okay, he got a child.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't tell nobody. So not only did it eat at them for the rest of their lives, probably, the child's gonna go on the same thing Andre did. They're watching the news. They hear about another island.
But the demon thing,
and they said, well,
but you gotta think about it. He wasn't doing it like that. He wasn't like just traveling like, well, Gulfport ain't gonna do it or something like that. I'm gonna go to Philadelphia, and if Philadelphia don't do it, I'm gonna go to San Diego. And if San Diego ain't gonna do it,
No.
But you gotta think about it. They've mentioned it that there was like 3 instances that happened, but it wasn't like it was a continuous thing.
Maybe it wasn't like continuing. Maybe he took some time off, but he was gonna do it again.
And then like I said, we don't know what Linoge's like what his background is. We don't know what the dude did. He could have just been chilling, or he could have been actually traveling the world.
Yeah, traveling the world, killing people.
We don't know
because
that.
he had to find his student.
Well, but the thing about it is, how would the only way he can get what he wanted, have a child, was to somebody to give his child up. How would you go about doing that? I mean, think about it. What if he'd have went up to a group of people and gave them like, I don't know, $1 billion? Would that have been better?
Give me your child, and I'll give you $1 billion. Stop.
So long, Narik Jr.
No, that would have been so long. Okay, you would have been a billionaire, but at the cost of your child. You have soul.
It's $1 billion. You know how many children I can...
Oh my God, guys, he has no soul.
And as I said, even though they gave up their child, they did save all of those people.
I don't care.
And then on top of that, you put your child in a position to where they're not going to be like a normal person. They're not going to suffer doing living a mediocre life. They're gonna go do things.
Become
No
a
human.
demon.
They'll think about it as a demon, but he's
A
got
demon who kills.
a regular person kills. What's that supposed to mean?
Oh my! You gotta grow up. You gotta grow old knowing that your child is out there somewhere killing other people.
This is what I would asked.
I can see why Michael left her ass and then.
But
Anyway.
but the thing, so you're just gonna kill that many people, and then on top of that, and condemn even more people to it, because you can't make you can't make that decision, even though it's a sucky decision. But like I told you, remember you said remember I told you, even though it was a bad decision, I mean they made the best of that decision and everything.
Well, like
it
I
doesn't.
said,
It doesn't.
They would have been in a trance. Then it would have been dead.
No, they all knew.
Okay, yeah. they would have said, no, we won't, agree with you on this. Trance, that's it.
They ain't
Yeah.
trans. They was like, this sucks. We're gonna die. They understand.
Yeah, selfish people.
Aw.
They all had secrets anyway.
So you ain't even thinking of the kids. You saying the kids can just get it too.
I mean, it's my child.
You can always. Okay, but on the real though, like I said, me and her have had this debate before. She thinks that the town should have just gone ahead and said no, and then all of them got the shit killed out of them. Me, I think that they did the best with that decision. We're spoiling this, so I know we should have put spoilers in the movie. I mean, in this discussion before we started it, but in the end, they did opt to allow one of the kids to get taken, which unfortunately was Michael and Molly, who are basically the main characters of the film. I mean, of the miniseries. But as I said, I think they did the right decision because it was it's a bad decision. It's not a good decision in either way.
Well, they were scared, but the ones before that, at least they had guts enough to stand up to him. So we're not giving you one of our kids. Yeah, he killed them all, but
But they didn't accomplish nothing.
Didn't nobody get taken either.
Yeah, they got taken all right.
They were just dead.
But like I said, said to man, well, if they were to sacrifice their life for a reason, like maybe if it would have just stopped him, like forever or something like that, that would have been different. But they all would have died for nothing.
Okay, I mean, I do understand what you're saying. I see your point, but you have your opinion. I have mine.
Well, that's why we call this break a debate. So, we make good points. We have opposing opinions, and that's why we have the discussions that we do. Aside from that, Miss Lakeisha, I know I can't depend on you, but anyway, who do you think, now when Mr. Linoge was sitting here divulging people's secrets, who do you think had probably the best one?
Well, I don't know.
I
mean, like the best secret.
Well, not best, but which secret did you think was maybe the most original, was the most relatable, was the most interesting, was maybe the darkest secret?
Okay, with Michael cheating on Tess, that wasn't a big secret. Maybe the one with the three dudes who beat up the.
I was just thinking about that. It beat up the gay guy.
Yeah, so that means they did something wrong. They hurt somebody, and maybe they had little gay tendencies themselves.
But I did like in the end that they kind of tried the one guy that did it kind of tried to make up for that by giving the gay dude that they beat up money or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the cat is messing with the bowl up and down because I got the food for the dog, the bowls for the dog. Yes, I did say that on air. So, anyways, I think that was perhaps it, and maybe even the one where the guy set the business on fire because he got fired. No pun intended. And because Mr. Linoge was like, well, you got to be happy because now, even though you got your revenge or whatever, you got 70 people got laid off their jobs or something like that. I think that was the defining moment when he did show up in that church and started telling people secrets.
Yeah. And the one with the priest too, the pastor. You know.
Yeah.
How he revealed what he was doing. I mean, you probably wouldn't expect that from a priest.
Oh yeah, I would. When I heard that part, I was like, that was nuts. I was not shocked. I was not shocked.
I mean, yes, but not his. I mean, his family.
I was not shocked. I think maybe the two most unoriginal ones was the girl Cat being had the abortion and then the priest.
Yeah, I mean, eventually it's probably going to get out to small town. Everybody knows everything, and the man with the who's growing marijuana, yeah, that's probably going to get out too eventually. So, yeah, I think with the three dudes and then the priest to me.
All right, now if they had a remake and you had the casting choice for Andre Linoge, who would you pick?
Oh my goodness. I really don't know. I don't know.
Honestly, I really can't think of somebody that could play that role like he did. I know some pretty good actors. I would say I like Anthony Hopkins. I think he could probably do it because he gave a pretty good performance in this movie called Priest. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
He was a good like actor, but when he got possessed, like because of that moment, and plus he played Hannibal, so he's known for playing characters that got that crazy dark look about him. So I would say Anthony Hopkins because he is an older gentleman, and you know what? I'm gonna give Anthony Hopkins that one. If I could cast him in that, I would. He's a fantastic actor.
Okay.
But yeah, he's a fantastic actor. Even possibly Jason Isaacs. Have you seen? You seen Harry Potter, right?
Yeah, I think a little bit of it.
Did you see? You know who Malfoy is?
No.
The dude that didn't like Harry Potter.
It's been a minute. I think I only seen one.
Let's think. What's another movie that he played in? Have you seen Event Horizon?
No.
Have you seen The Patriot?
No. I really don't know what name. No.
I'm gonna go ahead and show you who Jason Isaacs is. He's a great actor too, and he always plays bad. A good majority of his roles are bad guys, but he plays them like a king. In fact, remember Rosemary's Baby?
Okay.
That's him.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you think he could play that?
Yeah, I think he can play that.
Like I said, he plays like bad guys all the time. He's fantastic with those. Who else do you think could, possibly play Mr. Linoge? Gotta come up with at least three.
I mean, I don't know. Not too many. I mean, I don't know, to give off that demon look without actually, the way what's his name, Mr. Fiore did, to give off that demon look. I mean, no makeup, no none of that. I mean, you gotta already look scary.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. I'm sorry.
I think some of the best moments of the Linoge character is the moments where he's silhouetted as shadow, but you see the red in his eyes. Mm-hmm. His eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought it was comical every time he did that hissing thing with it, and he showed his teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you being a badass already? Why you bearing your fangs?
I mean, actually, that's the only. He wasn't. Human. He didn't do anything else. The people just thought they were just weird suicides all of a sudden. He really didn't do anything else to. He didn't look scary. The human. Well, not a human body.
Okay, when it comes to the character, because we've already talked about his reasons for doing it and how he went about doing it. But do you think the fact that they kept his origins a bit of a mystique, you think that it was a great way to kind of keep the character as powerful as he was in terms of performance?
Um, like what do you mean his origins?
Like, where did he come from? How he became whatever the hell he is?
I mean,
What does he do in his spare time? Stuff like that. The fact that they don't elaborate on that.
mm, yeah. I mean, it was all right. Well, they didn't tell you nothing about him, so he just came to town one day.
I think that's perhaps a good idea to keep an idea for a character, especially when it comes to even entity. May it be Mr. Andre Linoge, but Jeepers Creepers, Michael Myers, Hellraiser, any of these other characters that they keep them in mystique and everything. I think it's a great way for them to to make that character. I think it makes the horror aspect more powerful when you don't know.
Okay, but if you said Michael Myers, we knew Michael Myers' origin.
In the only reason like when I say origin with him, his motivation. The only way you know his motivation, honestly, is from the remakes. Like you can kind of see how he became how he was. In the original ones, not so much. He just all of a sudden just started killing people. You don't know why. You don't know when. You don't know where. I mean, you know when, but you don't know what built up to it.
Had a big anger problem.
And the dude was on some good stuff. But as far as Storm of the Century, how would you rate Storm of the Century?
It's original. It's not like any other uh, horror movie. I would probably maybe 3.5 to a 4.
Out of five.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say about 4 out of 5. It was good. I did like the characters. I thought the storytelling was good, and I like the subtlety of uh, the story and the twist and how things are revealed. Do you think Stephen King fans will enjoy this?
Yeah, I think they will.
What about people who just like horror?
Um, it might take them a while to get into it. I mean, if they like deep horror, it might take them a while to get into it because the movie's not, scary, scary. It's, so it might
Like
take.
entertaining, scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it might take them a while to get into it, but I believe they'll like it.
All right. All right. Well, guys, thank you for sitting here and listening to our discussion on the TV miniseries Storm of the Century, written by Stephen King in 1999. And you heard our thoughts on it. You heard how we discussed what we didn't like. What we did like. It is a well-written original story or script. Good characters, good writing, and it was great performances. I think everybody did a great job, don't you?
Yes.
And so, guys, stay tuned for another edition of Breaker Debates. And remember, Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let us know. Throw out some ideas. We want to hear what y'all think about this. To the next podcast, Narik Chase signing